Do you recall when the first germ of this idea came to you?
Yes. In fact, about 4 years ago, I'm a television producer by trade. I've been doing that for 28 years, and I found myself in a lull in my career about 4 years ago. I didn't have anything in production, and I'd always had this sort of nagging desire to do just a little book, to write a little book, because I grew up an avid reader. I'm still an avid reader, and that was always a bit of a dream of mine. And I had an idea for a small novella, and I was going to call it Her Southern Lineage, and it was essentially 5 short stories about 5 different women, 5 different generations of women from the same Southern family. And I wanted to explore what we passed down from one generation to the other, both spoken and unspoken. So I took some classes at UCLA Extension to learn a little bit more about the craft of short stories, and I had some really remarkable teachers. And I put together those 5 short stories. And then one day, one of my teachers said, okay, your homework for the next couple of weeks is to start sending your stories out, because it was at this point I was taking an advanced short story class, and I thought, okay, well, I'll send some stories out. That's the homework. I like to do my homework. So I did, and I started getting responses of people that wanted to publish them. But I didn't know anything about this business. As I said, I've spent so much time in the television business. I know a lot about that business, but nothing about the literary business. And I had just developed a show with Mark Bowden, who wrote Black Hawk Down, for AMC, about his life in Philadelphia, working as a reporter at the Inky, the Philadelphia Inquirer. They called it the Inky. And so I just picked up the phone and called him and said, I'm getting these responses. I don't know what to do. Do you know what I should do here? And he said, no, Deb, I don't know anything about literary fiction, but why don't you call Morgan Entrekin, my publisher and friend? And I said, I'm not calling Morgan Entrekin. Morgan Entrekin owns Groves Atlantic. I'm not calling Morgan Entrekin about a few silly little short stories. And he said, well, you have to, because he's expecting your call. I've told him about you. So I called Morgan Entrekin, and he picked up the phone and listened to what I had to say, and he said, sounds to me like you need an agent. And I said, no, I don't think so. This is just something I'm doing for now. And I just thought, well, I'll do that for now, and then I'll go back to my television production role. And he said, well, I'll tell you what, send me your work and I'll read it, but I'm not going to publish a novella. Nobody will publish a novella. They won't sell. And I said, that's fine. Thank you. And he read my work quickly, and then essentially called and said, I think you need an agent, and here are 4 names. Send your work to them and tell them I sent you. So I did, and very quickly, again, I got an email from one of them saying, I'm halfway through these stories. Don't do anything until you speak with me. So I said, okay. And on a Thursday in early March, I got a call from Duval Austin at Araji, and she said, I love your writing, but I don't think these are short stories. I think they're novels in disguise. And what I'd like you to do is start with the first short story and expand it into a novel. And I hung up the phone, and I literally cried on the couch for 2 weeks like somebody shot my mother. I was so scared. I'd never written a full-length novel before. That wasn't in the plan. I recognized this as an enormous opportunity. I didn't want it to pass it up, but I didn't feel equipped to do it. And so after about 2 weeks, after my children and my husband passed me regularly, thinking I was probably crazy and out of my mind, I conned myself. And I said to myself, okay, all you have to do is you have to write for 1 hour a day. And you can suck. You can write as badly as you want, and I just wanted to get myself moving, get myself working with the words. And within days, these other Retta's voice came to me, Annie's voice came to me, and I just chased them. And in some ways, this allowing myself to fail, allowing myself to do something poorly, opened the gates for me to actually create something I never dreamt I would ever be able to create. And 1 hour a day led to 2 hours, led to 3 hours, led to sometimes a whole day of just being immersed on my back deck, looking at my backyard and writing.